welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Yasmin and I make DIY, home decor, and organization videos every single week. Now the first day of spring is in a couple of days, which also marks the start of the Persian New Year. So in today's video, I wanted to share with you some DIY spring decor and how I styled them in our home and on the Haft Seen table. By the way, I have a whole video on Persian New Year and our traditions, and I will link that in the description box if you want to check it out after this one. With that said, let's go ahead and jump right in. For the first DIY, I created a spring wreath that I can hang on our front door. I used a metal wreath ring from the dollar store and some macrame cord to get started with this project. I wrapped one end of the macrame cord around the wreath ring and tied 2 knots in the back. I then used a small dab of hot glue to secure it in place and prevent it from unraveling. After that, I wrapped the macrame cord around the ring over and over, making sure to have each round nice and tight. I used small amounts of hot glue after a couple of loops to help keep the macrame cord in place. I repeated this until I had about a third of the wreath covered. At that point, I cut the macrame and secured it with some knots and glue in the back. In the next step, I basically repeated the same process as before to cover a second third of the metal ring with macrame cord. I used the existing division on the wreath ring to help guide me through these 2 steps. After adding the macrame, I moved on to arranging some faux greenery and florals on the uncovered portions of the wreath ring. I had all of these faux flowers and leaves left from last spring, but you can easily find similar ones at the dollar store and your local craft store. I started playing around with the placement of some green leaves and cut them into smaller pieces so it was easier to visualize them on the wreath. Once I was happy with it, I used hot glue to secure each piece to the metal ring, and I held it down for a few seconds to make sure it's secure in place. I repeated a similar process with some bigger yellow flowers, followed by smaller purple ones to really add dimension and interest to this wreath. I was going for a flower crown look with this wreath, and that's why I decided to add the florals to the 2 opposite sides. But make sure to customize the placement and color of your flowers to your taste and what matches your aesthetics best. In the last step, I cut a small piece of macrame cord and looped it through the back of the wreath so I can actually hang it from our door. And that's it for this first spring decor DIY. I think this wreath came out really cute and exactly how I was envisioning it. I love that it's simple yet so springy. In the second project, I created a floral arrangement using a glass cylinder vase from the dollar store and a neutral checkered ribbon from Michael's. I wrapped the ribbon around the bottom portion of the vase and marked how much I'll need. I then cut the ribbon to size to fit around the vase with a slight overlap in the back. Then I used hot glue to secure both ends to the vase, and I made sure that it was nice and straight. Next, I grabbed some faux flowers, again left from last year, and started placing them in the vase. I stuck to pink and white for the color palette, as I wanted this floral arrangement to be more on the simple neutral side. After adding the flowers, I decided to add some extra greenery to add more interest to the whole arrangement. Once I added those, I was pretty happy with how it was looking. I decided to add the same ribbon towards the top portion of the vase. So I repeated the same process as before to cut and glue it in place. This is mainly because the faux flower stems aren't very attractive, and I wanted to hide that more since I was using a clear glass vase. You can skip this part if you use a different vase or fresh flowers instead. That completed the second spring decor DIY, and I really like the simplicity of this flower arrangement. It was super quick and easy to put together, and it's going to look great decorated in our home. For the last DIY, I wanted to create my own version of decorative eggs. I know painted eggs are commonly used in Easter and Easter decor, but we actually have a similar tradition of displaying painted eggs as part of the Persian New Year setup. For this project, I used 2 small eggs from Michael's and the same faux florals that I used in the last DIYs. So I basically wanted to make flower eggs instead of painted eggs to match the theme that I'm going for this spring season. For the first egg, I cut small pieces of some green leaves and used tiny bits of hot glue to attach them to the 2 opposite sides of the egg. Then, I used small white flowers and added those in the blank space left. I made sure to not use too much glue throughout this project for a nice clean finished look. For the second egg, I repeated a similar process, but instead I used purple leaves for the sides just to change it up and bring some more color into these decorative eggs. That finished off this third spring decor DIY, and I think these floral decorative eggs are super unique, and I really love how they turned out. I can't wait to style them on my Haft Seen table for Nowruz. I hope that you enjoyed this video and got inspired to decorate your own space for spring. It also makes me happy to share a piece of my culture with you guys, and I appreciate you watching this video and being a part of it all with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!